try this. It's true. If you look at the A to Z of Great Britain and you look at the southeast, it's like this bugger's muddle of colour and names and roads. It's like this great big tangled plate of spaghetti. You look at Wales, it's brown. And there are beautiful things like Brecon beacons and Abergavenny, you know, there's just these lovely words, these lovely, and sort of brown patches where the mountains are and green patches where the trees are, and I just kept going, that's where I want to go, that's where I want to go. And Ludo, my husband, was going, you know, we can't live in Wales, people go on holiday to Wales, but we can't live there, you know, it's too far away, it's too, anyway, by a wonderful turn of fate, he was offered a job in Cardiff, and suddenly we could come and live in Wales. And his idea was the job was only a year long, so we would rent down here and see if we liked it. My idea was get me over that border, I'm never going back. And the bottom line was that in the end we saw a house that we completely fell in love with, and we just thought, how could we possibly live anywhere else? So we sold everything and moved lock, stock and barrel to Wales. This was going to be our life. And the house has 4 acres of land, and you know, suddenly all my kind of childhood, that feeling returned. You know, I grew up next to a farm, I spent my whole childhood mucking out things, and you know, animals, and that was a whole pattern of my life. I'd get up in the morning and animals came first, and then you went to school, and suddenly I could do that again. And so we had this piece of land, and we got some chickens, like everybody starts with a few chickens, and then we got some ducks, and then we got a couple of geese, and somebody gave us a cockerel, and then I got a little bit drunk at a dinner party and went, coony piglets, can't think of anything nicer. No idea what they were. Anyway, bought them. You know, and we had got a couple of rescue donkeys. I mean, as a small holding, it was pretty hopeless. You know, we had a few eggs and then a lot of hungry mouths to feed, but I absolutely loved it. And we kept sort of thinking, do we want sheep, do we want sheep? And then thinking, no, sheep are a bit hard, we don't really understand about sheep. And then I was asked to do this program called Lanning Live, and it was filmed not far from here on a farm that belongs to the most wonderful family called the Bevans, and they took me on as their apprentice, sheep farmer basically, or shepherdess, for 8 months. And I knew nothing about sheep at all. But as I was learning from them, and I would go to their farm, you know, every week, several times a week sometimes, and it made me realise that it was like a light bulb going off one morning, that I was just like, this is what I want to do. This way of life, this kind of connection with the countryside, this connection with everything that's going on. It seems right, it felt really right. And I wrote a book about the whole experience, and I remember trying to kind of sum up that feeling, and the only way I could put it was that for 40 years I'd worn the wrong pair of shoes, and suddenly I'd found the right pair. You know, it felt like I'd found this sort of lifestyle that fitted me.